Imagine sitting in a dark movie room with the great filmmaker Stanley Kubrick. A bright beam of light hits the screen, a creepy sound fills the air, and you feel your heart beat faster. Kubrick leans over and whispers, "Watch closely. Fear is a tool, and these films use it perfectly." Today we will travel through the thriller and horror stories he loved most. We will learn why each movie impressed him, and what tricks they used to keep viewers glued to their seats. Get cozy, keep the lights on if you must, and enjoy the ride. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Picture a young couple, Rosemary and Guy, moving into a bright New York apartment building with friendly, chatty neighbors who bring them chocolate mousse and smile too much. Stanley Kubrick loved how the story starts out so normal that you could mistake it for a romantic comedy. Nothing feels rushed. Director Roman Polanski plants tiny clues like cracked tiles in the hallway. Kubrick believed fear grows best when the audience spots danger first, and here we see red flags long before Rosemary does. The camera often frames her alone in a crowd, hinting she's already trapped. Gentle lullaby music slides under scenes, twisting childhood comfort into something chilly. By the time Rosemary realizes her unborn baby may be in terrible hands, our hearts are pounding because the dread has been quietly stacking up. For Kubrick, this patient build showed how horror can hide in plain sight. No monsters jumping out, just everyday life turning slowly against you. Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. At first glance, this sounds like a dusty cowboy tale, but Stanley Kubrick treated it as a masterclass in slow-burn suspense. Director Sergio Leone opens with 10 full minutes where almost nothing happens. 3 gunmen wait at a train station, water drips, a fly buzzes. The silence stretches like taffy until a train whistle finally blasts. Kubrick loved that courage, proof that stillness, not noise, can wring sweat from a viewer's palms. Leone then switches to sweeping desert shots, only to zoom straight into sweating faces and twitching fingers. Every close-up is a ticking clock, counting down to violence. Kubrick noted how Ennio Morricone's haunting harmonica motif warns us each time evil approaches, turning music into a shadowy character of its own. By merging epic landscapes with tight, breath-holding standoffs, Leone builds tension layer by layer. Kubrick admired how the film makes you fear the next moment, even when nothing seems to move at all. Get Carter, 1971. Mike Hodges drops us into cold, gray Newcastle, where gangster Jack Carter returns home to probe his brother's suspicious death. Kubrick prized authenticity, and Get Carter's rough streets, dingy pubs, and blunt dialogue felt brutally real to him. There are no cackling villains in capes, just everyday crooks who smile while planning something foul. Hodges follows Carter step by step, letting us hear boots click on pavements and glasses clink in back rooms. Kubrick admired that rhythmic patience because it lets tension creep up naturally. Each encounter could explode, yet most scenes end with a quiet threat rather than a fist fight, keeping nerves raw. Michael Caine's ice-cold stare turns every handshake into a warning. The film taught Kubrick that true terror sometimes lies in human cruelty, not supernatural tricks. When you realize this grim story could unfold in any real city, the chill lingers long after the credits, exactly the effect Kubrick chased in his own thrillers. The Exorcist, 1973. Before heads spin and beds shake, director William Friedkin spends half an hour showing a warm mother-daughter bond, friendly priests, and a cozy Georgetown neighborhood. Kubrick noticed that gentle groundwork right away. By anchoring us in normal life, Friedkin makes every later shock feel twice as violent. Kubrick also admired the film's groundbreaking sound design. Rumbling subways, metallic screeches, and sudden animal snarls leap from silent moments, grabbing the audience even with eyes closed. He often said, "Sound is half the experience," and The Exorcist proves it. Practical effects, hidden wires, cold breath, subtle makeup, keep the horror feeling physical and not like a cartoon. Kubrick valued that sense of touch. He saw how the film poses big questions about faith and doubt, lifting it above simple scare tactics. Watching this movie, Kubrick learned that terror sticks when story, character, and technical craft all aim at the same dark target, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. With a tiny budget and blistering Texas heat, Tobe Hooper shot a nightmare that looks like we stumbled onto real crime footage. Kubrick was fascinated by how the camera jerks and wheezes as though it, too, is scared. Bright daylight does not save the teenage characters. Horror strikes under a hot sun, flipping the usual dark equals danger rule. Kubrick admired Hooper's restraint. Very little blood actually splashes on screen, but the buzzing saw, squealing pigs, and panicked screams convince us we've seen worse than we have. This power of suggestion would later inspire Kubrick's own choice to show Danny's bouncing ball or elevator blood in The Shining, rather than endless slashing. Chainsaw also proved that unknown actors can deliver raw, unfiltered panic when pushed to real limits, something Kubrick echoed by shooting many takes to peel away performer polish. For him, Hooper's film was proof that clever atmosphere beats expensive effects every time. Picnic at Hanging Rock, 1975. Sunny Australia, white lace dresses, and a school field trip. Nothing appears threatening. That's why Kubrick cherished Peter Weir's haunting tale. One Valentine's Day in 1900, a group of students and a teacher climb a volcanic rock and vanish. No monster prowls, no gunshots ring out. They simply disappear. Kubrick valued mysteries that refuse neat answers because they keep viewers thinking for days. Weir bathes scenes in soft light, slow pans, and flute music, creating a dream that gradually tilts toward nightmare. Gusts of wind and ticking watches grow louder than dialogue, hinting at forces we cannot name. Kubrick loved how fear here is not delivered by jump scares, but by the aching absence of truth. The unanswered question, what happened on the rock, turns the audience into detectives without clues. Kubrick saw in this film a lesson. Suspense can live in open spaces and lingering doubts, not just in locked rooms and lurking killers. Eraserhead, 1977. Step into Henry Spencer's crumbling apartment, where radiators hiss, floors ooze, and a strange infant cries through the night. David Lynch's debut feels like a black and white fever dream, and Kubrick admired its fearless weirdness. While prepping The Shining, he screened Eraserhead for his crew to show how abstract sound and unsettling imagery can bend reality. Every hum, clank, and heartbeat becomes part of the score, wrapping the viewer in industrial dread. The puppetry and practical effects are lo-fi, yet hypnotic, proving to Kubrick that imagination beats big budgets when crafting nightmare worlds. Shadows swallow faces, corridors stretch forever, and logic melts like wax. Kubrick loved cinema that trusts viewers to interpret symbols, and Eraserhead offers no easy map. It invites us to feel rather than explain, teaching Kubrick that horror need not answer what or why, as long as it nails, how does this make you feel right now? The Vanishing, 1988. A sunny road trip turns to lifelong torment when Saskia vanishes at a gas station, leaving boyfriend Rex hunting for clues across 3 years. Kubrick called this Dutch thriller the most horrifying film I've ever seen, and he watched it 3 times in a single week. Unlike slashers, The Vanishing shows its villain early, a calm, polite family man named Raymond. Kubrick was stunned by this approach. Revealing the kidnapper up front shifts tension from who did it to what will happen when these two men finally meet. The story moves like a chess game, another reason Kubrick leaned in. Each piece slides quietly until the final, devastating checkmate inside a coffin-shaped box. No blood sprays, yet the ending freezes the soul. Kubrick admired its realism, patient pacing, and the idea that evil can wear an ordinary face. He believed terror blossoms when the unthinkable feels entirely possible. House of Games, 1987. Psychologist Margaret Ford steps into a smoke-filled pool hall to study con artists, thinking she is the clever observer. By the end, we wonder who studied whom. David Mamet writes dialogue like rapid-fire drumming, and Kubrick, a fan of sharp scripts, delighted in every beat. He saw how Mamet turns simple poker slang into code words that build suspense. Instead of monsters, the danger here is betrayal, and Kubrick valued that intellectual threat. The con sequences teach viewers to question every handshake and smile, mirroring Kubrick's own obsession with hidden motives. Visually, Mamet uses clean lines and tight frames. Kubrick noted that neat order can make deceit feel even colder. The film argues that anyone can be fooled if their pride is poked just right. Kubrick loved its respect for the audience's intelligence. We are invited to keep score, yet the final twist still stings. The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. A young FBI trainee, Clarice Starling, seeks advice from imprisoned genius Hannibal Lecter to catch another killer. Kubrick admired how director Jonathan Demme shoots their dialogues. The camera stares straight into each actor's eyes, forcing us to hold the gaze. Kubrick often used symmetry and steady framing, so he appreciated this bold choice. Sound again plays a starring role, buzzing fluorescent lights, distant screams, and polite conversation dripping with menace. The movie balances gruesome moments with quiet character exploration, something Kubrick believed kept horror grounded. Lecter's intellect turns every word into a blade, proving that fear can be forged from language, not just chainsaws. Clarice's vulnerability makes stakes personal, echoing Kubrick's view that audiences invest when heroes have clear inner battles. The result is a thriller that feels like tense chess, with every move, glance, and breath counting toward checkmate. Kubrick saw it as proof that smart storytelling can elevate even the darkest material. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Quentin Tarantino shuffles time like a deck of cards, letting hitmen chat about burgers, then flashing to sudden violence. Kubrick called the film slick and admired its fresh structure. By breaking stories into out-of-order chapters, Tarantino keeps viewers alert, which Kubrick believed heightens every thrill. Dialogue rolls fast and funny, making calm moments pop just as hard as gunshots. Kubrick noticed how humor and horror dance together. A car ride conversation ends in an accidental shooting, forcing laughter to choke into shock. Pop music cues, like surf rock under a heroin overdose, twist moods in seconds. Another trick Kubrick valued. He saw that audiences stay hooked when they cannot predict tone. Pulp Fiction proves thrill rides need not follow straight lines. They can zigzag if each scene pulses with energy. For Kubrick, the lesson was clear. Fearless structure and rhythm can make even the smallest stakes feel explosively cinematic.